The Kawasaki Z H2 is one of the best super nakeds you can currently buy, if not the best. But recently I've been thinking about a few modifications for it, and one of them might surprise you. Let's jump right in. Yeah, it's really funny, isn't it, guys and gals? If the Kawasaki Z H2 is the ultimate super naked, then why on earth would you ever want to modify one? Well, there's a couple of things that I've been curious about modifying. One that I've been actually quite serious about in the past. But the biggest issue that I have is that this is a PCP motorcycle. So it means that basically all of the modifications that I do to it are going to be a waste of money, because when I give the bike back, if I decide to give it back, which I more than likely will, but I don't know, I haven't quite decided yet, but that's probably what's going to happen. But yeah, if I end up giving the bike back, I've got to take all the mods off. And then, yeah, it's been a serious waste of my time. And money. So this video is mainly for those of you that have actually bought one of these and you outright own one. What modifications I would like to see if I owned this one. And I think it's no secret that the exhaust isn't exactly the nicest exhaust on a motorcycle ever. But I don't actually mind the look of the exhaust. It's actually more the sound that it makes. It's quite a quiet exhaust, really. And yeah, fine, fair enough. You really do hear that supercharger flutter over the exhaust, which is great, and you can hear it sucking in and things, which is really cool. But believe it or not, you can actually hear that even with a aftermarket exhaust. Now, there have been aftermarket exhausts that I've seen online and on YouTube, reviews and things like that, and man, they sound absolutely amazing. I mean, 10 times better than the stock sound that this motorcycle produces, at least to my ear anyway. But yeah, I think a lot of people are disappointed with the exhaust on this bike. One because it's fairly ugly, but two because yeah, it's fairly heavy and the sound it makes isn't that exciting, really. The most exciting sound is that supercharger for sure, but you like the sound of the exhaust as well. You have to, it's part of the experience, so you must have a good sounding exhaust. Sorry, I've still got a bit of a cold, so my sinuses are playing up again, and they always seem to whenever I'm out on a ride. It's really annoying when I've got my face squeezed together by my helmet. But yeah, I only had a cold about a month ago, and I've got another one again. It's bloody annoying. But yeah, so that is perhaps the main modification that I would love to do on the ZH2. And I mean, to be fair, if I did decide to do it, I could always sell the can afterwards if I wanted to on eBay or something like that. I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of people that are going to be looking for an aftermarket exhaust on the ZH2. But there's one mod that I've been seriously curious about, and that is an ECU flash. Now, I'm not sure when it got broken, but I mean, I imagine it was recently. But on More Mafia's channel, they did a really cool video on how they were able to extract the maximum amount of power that a ZH2 can actually produce. And it's a really, really cool video. Definitely go check that one out. I'll leave it up in the top corner for you if you want to watch. But yeah, they're really cool channels. Definitely go and subscribe to them. They do a lot of drag racing and ECU flashes. It's awesome. They're really, really cool channel. And after watching that video, it really made me wonder whether or not that's something that I would want on my ZH2. I mean, even just if it produces an extra, I don't know, 10% horsepower, something like that. But the crazy part about that More Mafia video is that ZH2 that they had in the shop, I believe, if I remember correctly, produced 250 horsepower. That's wheel horsepower, not crank horsepower. That's wheel horsepower. The motorcycle in stock form produces 200 horsepower, 199 horsepower from the crank. So 250 horsepower from the wheel, that is just absolute madness. And I was really curious about what that would feel like if I did that to my ZH2. And I know it wouldn't cost an awful lot, I don't think. Maybe 200 or 300 quid, 400 quid, depending on where you go, I think. Maybe. But, I mean, I don't know. The thing is about the ZH2 is that it has so much to offer already, just in stock form in terms of performance. I mean, I don't know who would ever want more power out of a machine like this. But I am curious about it. I'm curious about what it would be like to have a little bit more torque, to have a little bit more horsepower. Definitely to see how that feels, especially at the lower end of the rev range. You know me, guys. I mean, I very rarely spend a lot of my time in the top end of the range. I spend most of it in the low to mid range. So if I could get a little bump in power and torque at the bottom end of the range, man, I think that would be so sick. I don't know, I mean, don't you think? I know it might sound absolutely insane and absolutely crazy, but the fact that Kawasaki has left so much performance on the table. I can't remember off the top of my head though if that video, if they needed race gas or if it's just standard pump gas, standard petrol. I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a little while ago since I watched it, but ever since then I've been mulling over it and I'm like, that sounds like such a cool idea. It sounds so fun. And okay, look, I know it'll probably break the warranty and stuff like that, and it will break the terms and conditions of my PCP agreement, but I mean, as far as I'm aware, as long as I put the bike back to the way it was when I bought it, then I don't think they'll have any problems with it. And I mean, another thing I haven't considered, I'm not sure about this at all, is the impact on the insurance, because you have to declare it on the insurance. I mean, something like an ECU flash, they might not be able to pick up on, but an exhaust, they definitely pick up on that. But I don't know. I don't know, something that I'd need to declare. But then again, though, I mean, if I decide not to declare it, then what, does that nullify the insurance entirely, or will they just pay for what the bike would have been worth without the mods on it? Because I'd be happy to have that exchange, you know. I wouldn't mind, to be honest with you. Yeah, pretty cat running across the road. That's a brave cat. But yeah, definitely something that I think would be absolutely just insane, man. Having the most powerful ZH2 around. You don't just have a ZH2, you've got the most powerful ZH2 probably in the country at 250 wheel horsepower. That's just madness, man. That's so cool. But yeah, honestly, doesn't that sound so awesome? Again, I've been toying with that idea as well since one of you suggested in the comments about doing that to the ZZR, because I would love to have a little bit more torque down low on the ZZR for sure. The ZH2 doesn't need it, but the ZZR, I would like to have a little bit more torque down low, and I played with the idea of changing the gearing a little bit, but someone mentioned about an ECU flash, and I'm like, yeah, maybe that's a good way to go about it. But I mean, if gearing's cheaper, then that might be the better way, you know? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments, guys, if there's a mod that you would love to do on your motorcycle, but you don't know if you can justify it to yourself. Let me know what that is. And let me know the bike that you're riding as well. Because I mean, obviously there's a lot more to just modding than performance mods. So yeah, if there's anything that you'd love to mod on your motorcycle, let me know. I mean, again, one of the things that I love to mod on the ZZR is actually, because getting to the battery is such a pain in the ass, what I would love to do is have some wires connected to the terminals so I can plug in a battery tender to it without having to take the battery out. That's what I would love to do ideally, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing it. But yeah, it just make life so much easier, because getting the battery out of that thing is a pain, and I think I'm gonna have to do the same thing with the ZH2, is get the battery out at some point. But I don't know how difficult getting it out is, because I've actually never done it on the ZH2. And if it's anything like the Ninja 125, then it's probably going to be a real pain. But hey, we'll see. I mean, that's something again that I'm thinking about. Is putting the, or at least charging up the battery a little bit on the ZH2, just to give it a little boost over winter. But yeah, I mean, hey, those are my thoughts, guys. And I mean, it's something that I would love to do, but I don't think I'll ever get the chance to do, is either of those things, the exhaust or the ECU flash. Just because, again, I don't know what the repercussions might be for insurance. I don't know the repercussions for, did I say for insurance? For the PCP contract, for all that stuff. I just don't know. But yeah, definitely something I'd love to do. I mean, maybe at some point in future, maybe that's what I'll do. But yeah, I mean, obviously, one last thing I should probably mention, if you don't have a ZH2 but you're looking to buy one, is the fuel economy isn't great, to say the least, on the ZH2. I'm lucky if I'm able to get about 30 mpg out of it, and some days it feels like a lot less than that, but depends on how you ride it, of course. But of course, I mean, when you want to feel that supercharger, then you're going to have to burn some gas. But it's not very good on fuel from the way I ride, and if you do something like an ECU flash, then it's more than likely going to make it worse. Because you're going to want to be feeling that supercharger a lot more, aren't you? But it's nice actually how the roads are drying up a little bit now. They've been wet all week. But yeah, guys and gals, I mean, those are my thoughts on the mods that I would love to do to the ZH2. And let me know in the comments if these are mods you have actually done. An exhaust mod, have you done that? Have you got an aftermarket exhaust can? Have you got an aftermarket whatever on the ZH2? And if you had an ECU flash, definitely let me know in the comments what you think and whether or not it's worth it. Because if a lot of you say it's worth it, well, that might swing me towards that direction. You never know. But yes, definitely, I love the idea of it, at least anyway, and it's something that I'm really toying with. But yeah, it's just whether or not the investment is going to go to waste when I end up giving the bike back, because it doesn't exactly improve the value of the bike, does it? So who knows? But anyway, thank you ever so much for watching this video, guys and gals. Thank you for joining me on today's ride. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm glad it's not raining, so that's always a plus. But yeah, as always, leave a comment, let me know what you think, leave a like, and hit subscribe if you want to support the channel, and we will catch you all in the next video, guys and gals. Have a good one.